14 people have now been arrested in that horrific violence in the stone pelting and clashes that took place last night in Delhi's Jahangirpuri. The police have now registered cases under various sections, including rioting, attempt to murder and the Arms Act. 10 teams of officers from the crime branch and the special cell have been formed now to investigate the matter. Security has been tightened across the Delhi NCR. 9 people, including 8 police personnel and a civilian, have been injured. Remember, this is shocking. This is in the national capital. Among those injured is a Delhi police sub-inspector who suffered a bullet injury. Now, according to the first information report filed in this case, the rally was passing by a mosque when then residents in that area started arguing with those participating in the rally. The altercation then escalated, and then both sides openly started throwing stones at each other. That's what the FIR says. Now, there's video that is circulating that shows members of this procession carrying weapons, shouting incendiary slogans, using intimidating tactics, brandishing instruments that can be used as weapons. They're carrying swords. Many can be seen carrying swords in their hands for this religious procession, and local residents have mentioned this. They reject allegations that the violence started from the mosque. They point out that this is the first time that arms have been wielded in a Hindu religious rally in the area. They say that members of both communities have lived happily in this area for years, but this is the first time that you have arms that have been wielded in a Hindu religious rally, and then tempers have then got out of hand. But let's go across to Sukirti, Sukirti, of course, so many questions, so many layers, so many disturbing layers to this story. What is the latest, first of all, before I can get to asking you more about this? What's the latest? What's the situation on the ground right now?
Well, as far as the situation on the ground is concerned, the police deployments and the paramilitary deployments in the area still continue. At least it looks like for at least today, the police deployments will remain this way, because this is just the day after these clashes broke out. So today, the whole day has been peaceful. The police did cordon off certain roads and certain lanes within that area. However, despite the restrictions, they did allow free movement of the public to other diverted routes. But in the areas that were cordoned off, nobody was allowed to open their shops, and there was no free movement for the public. But normalcy is expected to be restored by tomorrow or so, considering no further violence has taken place today. That is as far as the ground situation is concerned. Now, in terms of the investigation, at least 14 people have been arrested so far, including the 2 main accused. One man who is blamed of starting the entire violence by turning up while the procession was moving next to the mosque. He turned up there with 4 to 5 people and then started these arguments, which later escalated into stone pelting. That is a man called Ansar, and another man called Aslam, who is accused of shooting at a sub-inspector, and the weapon has also been recovered from him. So these are the 2 main accused, but also apart from them, 12 other accused have been arrested, who are now also being taken to a court. So that is as far as the investigations are concerned, but the police is still going through more CCTV footage, and it is still an ongoing investigation. So it might be likely that we may see further arrests.
All right. So that certainly is a relief to hear that peace seems to have returned to the area. But of course, now questions about how this all was allowed to happen. Sukirti, you have spoken with residents of the area, both who were members of this religious procession being taken out and residents who live there, who have both, neither of them are denying that there were members of the procession who were also carrying swords in their hands. The question really is, how did the police allow this kind of procession to take place in this area? How was permission given, and why was this a failure of intelligence of the police not to be aware that something could go out of hand here?
Well, Sarah, you are right to ask that question, because as far as the security arrangements are concerned, One, they did have a permission to carry out the procession, but they did not have a permission to carry out the procession while holding swords or batons, or now what it appears to be, there were also guns that were used. We do not have clarity on, whether both sides used guns, whether one side only kept using these guns. But as far as the Delhi Police Special CP's media statement today is concerned, he said that, we had all our full security arrangements of this entire procession, but certain people turned up with illegal weapons. Now, that is what the police is saying. But as you rightly pointed out, these are police authorities. They seem to get intel. They are supposed to have ground teams to be on the lookout for exactly these things, that is somebody turning up with weapons. And also now the kind of videos that are emerging of the incident, this is not people secretly carrying weapons. These are weapons that were being shown off, they were being paraded. So why did the Delhi police not take action then, as soon as the procession started and people were hurling these weapons in the air and all the music that was going on loudspeakers? So this was not a silent event that could have just gone unnoticed. So this was a very, everything was being done very openly. So despite, the kind of visuals that are emerging, why was police action not taken on time? These are the big questions that are being asked at this point of time. So while there are 14 arrests that have been made, if the police is saying that there were people in the Shobha Yatra or the procession who turned up with illegal weapons, then will these people, these participants of the procession, be arrested or not? That is the big question that the Delhi police still needs to answer.